actually gave away one of my Click and Grow Smart Garden 9, and I'm going to tell you why. Today, I want to answer all your questions in regards to the Smart Garden 9, whether you're thinking about getting one for yourself or purchasing for a loved one or a friend or a coworker. Then I want to guide you and help you and provide you with a little bit more information. Now, I had this Click and Grow for over 2 years now. Actually, almost 2 years, I would say. I got it 2 Christmas ago. And I want to tell you my honest opinion on having this garden at home. Now, we're going to dive into which garden to get, either the Smart Garden 3, the Smart Garden 9, or even the 27. How compact is it? Where to even put it in terms of aesthetics? If you're choosing different colors, which one should you go for your space? And is it actually sustainable? My name is Priscilla Joseph. I am a wellness designer and I love everything indoor gardening. My goal is to inspire you and your family to cultivate joy through plant care. And one of the ways I've done that is through the Smart Garden 9. I've done it in my own family to inspire growth, learning about sustainability, and how to cook with the very herbs that we make from home. Okay, so our kitchen is quite compact. We have an L-shaped kitchen with the sink, and we have corner, and our range and microwave is on this side. And so I had previously placed the Click and Grow in multiple locations, and I have to say that I really enjoy having my Click and Grow right in the center part of my kitchen, where I usually meal prep and cook. And the reason why I find that there's a direct connection to nature, which I absolutely love. Now, I do have a window. I get to see outside, but there's nothing like seeing your herbs grow right from home. As you can see, I haven't used this in a little while, and that's because I started growing my herbs outside for the summer. But now the winter's here and it's snowing, and I'm going to start growing indoors again. All right, so I'm gonna have you set up my garden ready to plant. One thing that I've used in the past is the Click and Grow anything pods. One of the reasons that I love the Grow Anything pods is that you can really grow absolutely anything. Now, there are its limits because there is a certain height to the Click and Grow, but I've really enjoyed the Grow Anything pods. One thing you'll want to do is to really clean your Click and Grow. Now, if you're purchasing it for the first time, you don't really have to do this step. You might want to give it a rinse if you want to. Now, but this is just more in terms of maintenance. If you have had your Click and Grow for quite a bit of time, you're going to want to rinse your pods. Now, if you don't rinse them properly, there's a buildup, and buildup from the roots, buildup from the pod itself. And so you want to make sure that you're cleaning it thoroughly before planting new seeds. And the reason behind this is that I found that if it's not cleaned properly, your plants might not grow as healthy as you would want them to. And so I just want to give a bubble bath to all my pods. Now, make sure I gave them a nice warm rinse. Again, this is just to remove all kind of buildup. And even the lids, you might want to wash the lids. And you can see here, haven't used it in a while. I have rinsed it before, but not thoroughly washed it before I kind of stopped planting. And so you're going to want to do that for all your pods before you start planting your new seeds. So here I'm trying to clean the insert where you put in your wick. And the reason why is I want to make sure that there's no residue in here. Again, this helps maximizing the health of your produce or your plants or your herbs that you're growing in here, making sure that it's completely clean. So one thing you want to do, you want to try to place your click and grow close to an outlet, and I have an outlet right here. And although this may seem quite large for my kitchen, I actually really enjoy it. I definitely think that a Smart Garden 3 can fit well in here, which gives me more meal prep space when I'm cooking. And here you can hear the snap. But I do love the amount of variety that I can plant in the Smart Garden 9. Now you can tell that there is quite a bit of maintenance, and I think if you're trying to get a click and grow to get away with being maintenance free, I don't think it's very accurate for any smart garden. I understand that is lower maintenance, but when you're entering the indoor, or actually I should say the gardening world, there is maintenance to be done, whether it's cleaning your pods or whether it's adding nutrients. The thing that I love about the Smart Garden 9, the Click and Grow, is that I don't have to worry about adding nutrients. Okay, one thing about the Click and Grow is that you have these little wicks. Now, this is where the pods absorb and the plant absorb the water through this wick. And one thing you'll have to do over time is change the wick for fresh wicks, because you can see there's a lot going on in these wicks. I don't know if you'll be able to see close enough, but over time it does get brown. And I think that's just because the roots are growing. The nutrients from the water to the root system is traveling through the wicks. And so you are going to want to obtain new packs. Now, I got this a bit later. I got this closer to the end of the first year that I've used the Click and Grow. However, if you do want to optimize on your produce, your herbs, again, the more clean your, I would say, workstation is, or the home of the plant and the herbs are, the better and healthier your plants and your herbs will be. In order to remove your wick to interchange them, you can do that with either a fork, a pen, or something like that. I've used a butter knife, and to put it back in, you can insert it from the bottom and press it now in. Now you can see this wick, it's pretty dirty, so I will not be using this one. So once you have a new wick, you can just insert it from the bottom and press it in all the way in. All the way in, so it's not really sticking out. And it should be completely flush inside. And then you can place it in and make sure it kind of locks. There you go. You basically do that for all your pods. And now these are reusable pod containers, I guess if you want to call that. And when I'm talking about pods, I call this the pod. This is a smart soil. I don't want to call it soil because it's more of a growing medium than it is soil. You can't use your conventional soil to put in the Click and Grow. You absolutely have to purchase their smart pods. And so once you've washed everything, you can just kind of pop in your pods. And pretty quick and easy. And I've done this with my children before at toddler age, and I have to say it's very fun to do. Yes, move it out. What we're gonna do, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, yeah, the light will play after. So first we have to open this.
I like the full water.
So first you have to open this. going to be seeds, okay? So now we're going to put the seeds here. This is basil. Yes, let me just open it up. Basil. Basil seeds.
My basil.
On top up here. Yeah, just... You got it? Put a lid on that one, eh?
There's one.
This one too?
Got it.
Yeah, you did. Good.
Got it.
I don't think we... Okay, the truth is I gave my Smart Garden 9, my second one, to my mother. And one of the reasons was because of the joy that I personally gained from watching these herbs grow, and my children, how excited they get when they see the basil growing and all the other different herbs. Now, I've grown all kind, and I have a video to show all the different produce and herbs that I've grown throughout the 2 years. And I have to say, I prefer using the Smart Garden, the Click and Grow Smart Garden 9 for mainly herbs than produce. So I find growing herbs works so much better and more efficient because the herbs actually grow at a faster pace. And so when you're looking at return on investment, because the pods cost a certain amount, and so I find that you're reaping more harvests for your buck if you're going with the herbs versus produce. Now, produce takes much more nutrients, much more energy to grow, and so it takes longer to produce certain amount of produce. So if you're growing a bell pepper, there's so much bell peppers that you can get off the plant within the Click and Grow. Now, another thing to consider is that if you live somewhere where you have to pay for your electricity or your water bill, then you have to be mindful of whether you're leaving in your Click and Grow plugged in all the time, because that's what it's recommended. It's plugged in for about, I think, 16 hours, and then the remaining hours it's off. I like to put my Click and Grow, actually it's on the counter, on the kitchen counter. I have a small counter with my kitchen window, so it gets a certain amount of sunlight. And the way I've done the lights is, I'm not sure if this is recommended. I think they recommended that you synchronize the light versus the daylight outside, so it matches the circadian rhythm. But what I've done is that so I can maximize the daylight during the day, I actually set my Click and Grow to turn on midday, so that during the night it would be light, and then it turns off during the day. To sum it up, would I recommend the Smart Garden Click and Grow, Smart Garden 9 specifically? I would definitely recommend it. One, I mean, it brings me a lot of joy. Beside that, the herbs works very well here. It's slightly compact. I mean, if you have a smaller space, you can go with the Smart Garden 9. If you have more than 2, and that's one of the challenges I find, is limited of space. So if you have 2, then you need to have some sort of shelf, unless if you go with 3, and then Click and Grow has an integrated shelf that they have if you go with the Smart Garden 27. Now, if you're wondering if you should get yourself a Click and Grow for Christmas or give your family or a loved one a Click and Grow, I highly recommend it. It's it was such a way of, it was a learning opportunity for my children and I to grow different herbs in this smart garden. There are many smart gardens out there, but one of the things I love about Click and Grow is that it's very user friendly. You don't have to add additional nutrients. You don't have to worry about the pH level. You don't have to adding all these supplements and nutrients to your growing medium. It's very, very, very user-friendly, easy to work with, minimal maintenance. There are maintenance, but it's minimal, and so I would highly recommend it. It is one of those tools what kind of triggers or sparks curiosity and sparks joy in planting, and I think this is a great way for someone to fall in love with gardening.